Speak your truth. Say what you mean and mean what you say. Even if what you are saying does not make sense to the other person, mean it. Because your emotions, your thoughts, the things that you experience are true. And just because someone doesn't understand immediately what you're saying does not mean that it's wrong, that it's like not valid or anything along those lines, because they are most definitely valid. Oftentimes hard conversations are difficult because one person doesn't understand the other, and vice versa. And when you are able to make a hard conversation a conversation, that is when you can explain yourself, elaborate. Yes, it's hard. Yes, it's uncomfortable, but it's necessary. Having hard conversations will honestly be one of the best things that you know how to do, one of the best skills that you will be able to learn. Because so often, people like to hide. People like to avoid hard conversations because they're difficult. Who openly goes up into a conversation is like, you and I need to talk because there's a disagreement? No one is ever that blunt, usually. And it takes a lot of gut trust to be able to do so. And when you can do that for yourself, when you can actually eventually articulate what you mean by your short comment, that is when your conversational skills grow. And I think when you are talking with somebody that's close to you, that should understand you by now, that kind of gets the gist of who you are, no matter what, they still need time to understand you. Regardless of how close you guys are, not everything will translate perfectly from what you mean to how you feel to what you say. And there's a delay with an understanding, and there needs grace between that time of saying and that time of receiving. Because oftentimes people have multiple different expectations of what you should do when you say something, how you should say it, and how you should respond. And thinking time. Different people think in different ways, and different people need acknowledgement, and some people just need to be heard. And I think it's very hard to deal with. No easy conversation is ever easy in the beginning. That was originally hard, I should preface. Because you have to combine so many different aspects of a conversation. The person's plate load, what they're dealing with, their emotional bandwidth, patience, understanding, listening skills, the list goes on and on. And somehow you're supposed to understand that. Somehow you're supposed to be able to juggle that while you're trying to juggle your own emotions. It seems impossible. But it's not. But it's tricky. That's the tricky thing, is that the way that you have a conversation with somebody is not, let me get my point across, then you can talk. It's a two-way street. And when one person does not feel heard or understood, then there's no pathway. Then it's like you don't feel like there's a purpose of even talking if that other person doesn't even understand you. And that's the importance of trying to hear out the other person. To be able to kind of analyze how they are, where they're at, what they're saying, the tone, the speed, the specific words chosen. Sometimes it's just easiest to let them have that, so then you can better set up your speaking tone, tonality, things that you want to phrase. Because if somebody's super agitated, and you can tell by their words, you obviously do not want to return that, because then that'll continue that cycle. And I think the hardest part about conversating, especially during a hard talk, is that you say what you mean and mean what you say, but the other person doesn't get it. And so you have to keep pulling and pulling and pulling from yourself, and sometimes tears come up. Sometimes sadness, anger, all the emotions that you might be stuffing down, they come up. And it's inevitable. The things that are needed to be said need to be eventually said. Regardless of time, regardless of anything, regardless of how close you guys are. Sometimes time needs to be had, passed, occurred, before you can continue the conversation. And nothing is wrong with that. Nothing is wrong with that. Because time does heal all wounds, honestly. It's one of the slowest ways, but it's one of the truest ways. And when you have multiple hard conversations back to back to back, it's like you're emotionally raw. That you emotionally do not have anything left. And sometimes you just need that time to heal back up a little bit before you can resume that conversation. And no one says that's wrong. Because it's hard. It's hard to be vulnerable. It's hard to have hard conversations. It's difficult. But it's worth it. It's so beyond worth it, especially when you're talking to somebody that you truly love and care about. Especially when it's somebody who brings such joy into your life and supports you and cares about you and wants the best for you. So I want to leave you with this. Not every conversation is going to be easy. And sometimes you might have to spell out what you mean. Multiple times. multiple times in different ways. And that's okay. That's normal. Not every single student can understand a topic once through. So you might have to explain it in different ways to be able to help them better understand what you're trying to describe, something that is so complex like emotions and feelings and thoughts. So, give yourself the time, give them the time, and just have the hard conversation. Food for